high school, I lost a friend to suicide. And the teacher that helped me reestablish myself as a learner, because I loved to learn, I loved to get good grades, I loved to push myself to perfection, but I really lost track of that when she passed away. The teacher who helped me kind of come back to life was my biggest inspiration. His name is Mr. Keeney. He was my soccer coach and my chemistry teacher. So chemistry is hard for me, maybe not for everybody, but for me it was terribly difficult. And I remember we had a huge lab report due. I didn't do it. I wasn't doing the labs, I wasn't reading, I wasn't writing. And I remember one day Mr. Keeney called me up and he said, "Melissa, can you stay after school today?" And I said, "Yeah." And so I came back to the chemistry room at like 3:30, and this is crazy. On his desk, he had his grade book, and he said, "Melissa, can you read?" I said, "Yeah, Mr. Keeney, I can read." He goes, "Okay, come back in a half an hour." And when I came back at 4 o'clock, there was Chinese food and green eggs and ham waiting. Not the food green eggs and ham, the Dr. Seuss book, green eggs and ham, waiting on his desk. And we didn't talk about chemistry, and we didn't talk about the lab report. We ate because I hadn't been eating, and we read this really funny, sweet, sentimental book, and we equated it to my life. And he made me laugh for the first time in a really long time. And I thought that that was super, sorry, I get emotional and I still think about it. I thought it was amazing that someone who wasn't my dad or my friend, who was just a teacher, could do that. So that, woo! That was the moment when I knew I wanted to be that for someone else. And I think I am. I knew that I was going to teach, and I thought I was going to be an English teacher. I loved English, I loved reading, I loved writing. It's always very creative. And then I took French. I was never as good at anything as I was at French. Like immediately it just clicked. So I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to perfect that, and I'm going to travel, and I'm going to see the world, and I'm going to inspire people. And I thought that, and the older I've gotten, the more I've realized how important it is that I'm doing something worldly. Not that literature or that English literature is not worldly, because of course it is, but being able to talk about different cultures and see different cultures and taste a different culture and smell a different culture and live in a different culture, that to me is really profound in my own life, and I get to share that every day. There's a student who at the time was a senior at Horlick, and I had known him since he was a freshman, and he had always been phenomenal. A small example of that is that he took every AP exam that was offered, including the French AP exam, got a 5 on every single one, which is remarkable. So he's bright, brighter than bright. But his senior year, I stopped seeing him. He just wasn't there until I was teaching one day, and I remember seeing him walk by my room, and then walk by it again, and then walk by it again. And I turned and I said, "No, Kyle, are you okay?" And he said, "You know, Mazine, I need to talk to you." And his body movements were completely erratic, and he was nervous. I said, "Okay, give me 1 second." And I brought him up to my front desk there in the, right in the front of the room. And we were talking, and he started to get really fidgety and like grasp at my clothing, like at my hair, like start to touch me. And that's when I noticed his eyes. And I'm not a drug user, I'm a teacher, but I do know that opiates have a really strange effect on the eyes. Like your pupils get very big, and I couldn't see the blue in his eyes that I'd known forever, and his eyeballs were shaking, and I thought, oh my God, what happened? And I said, "Kyle, what's going on?" And he said, "I did something really bad." He said, "But you have to promise me you won't tell anybody." And I said, "I can't make that promise." He said, "You're the only teacher that I trust, and I love you so much, and I have to tell somebody." I said, "Well, then you tell me, it's okay." And then that's when he lifted up his shirt and showed me where he had shot heroin. The story continues that his parents, both professors, were so fixated on him graduating high school. He only needed one course, and that was economics. And I had known them for years. They called me and asked me to essentially babysit him during the day. And this went on like this, me being, he used to call me, his parents used to call me. It became they relied on me very heavily to just be a part of their lives during this process, where they were more fixated on him getting an education than on him going to rehab. And finally, this was a lesson I had to learn in teaching, because it's extremely emotional. You have to learn to draw the line in the sand. And I did this with this boy. I called him and his parents and I said, I love your son and I love you, but I need you to leave me alone now. I need you. I'm begging you to please take him to rehab, and we'll figure out school later. But right now your son's about to die and I can't be a part of that. And as you can tell, that was a very trying experience for me, because it teaches you very quickly to challenge yourself. Like, what is your job? Is your job to save kids' lives? Is it to teach them French? Is it to do both? Is it to babysit a child within a building? Is it to be a parent? That is the student who has made the largest impact on my life, because he taught me to think critically about my profession and about how I want to be associated with kids and their families, and how I want to teach.